Introduction. Liquids, for their construction made of molecules between the ones that force maintain a certain distance, are not able to form a rigid structure, but they modify the structures relative to the less effort applied. That's why they take the form of the recipient in which they are contained. This explains why no molecule can be alone above the other ones.
In this experiment, we have three liquids: water, alcohol, and oleic acid. This last one is immiscible on the second one, but not in the first one. In the other hand, alcohol is in the water. In a way, if we make a mixture of oleic acid and alcohol, in the moment we incorporate them in water, the acid separates and stays above the surface, meanwhile the alcohol mixed with water. If the quantity of acid is too low and the surface of the water is too big, it forms a circular acid drop that doesn't get to cover all the surface. As stated above, this cake is monomolecular, and its volume is calculated as in the one of a cylinder of height equal to the thickness of the molecule. The objective was to determine the approximate size of a molecule of oleic acid.
Materials: oleic acid, graduated cylinder, ruler, chalk, wire, beaker, water, tray, and dropper. Procedure: first you have to pour the water until covering the whole tray, and then sprinkle with the little pieces of chalk, but just a thin layer of it.
Second, you have to put a drop of oleic acid in the center of the tray. As soon as possible, you have to measure 3 different diameters, horizontal, vertical, and making a little stash.
Register the 3 diameters and make an average of them in order to get the most precise average of the circle.
Calculate the area of the circle with the formula pi d squared, all divided by 4.
Calculate the number of drops in a cubic centimeter of water in the graduated cylinder.
After you have the number of drops, you need to calculate the volume of a drop with the formula 1 cubic centimeter divided by the number of drops in that cubic centimeter.
With that information, you can calculate the volume of oleic acid.
In this activity, we could see some things. For example, we saw that the chalk we added was evolving water. Another thing is when we add 1 drop of oleic acid in the center of the dish, we could see a big circle making in the dish proportionally. Also, we could observe the quantity that increased in the graduated cylinder when we added 24 drops of oleic acid. With this activity, we got as a result: if we want to have 1 centimeter cubic or 1 milliliter, we have to add 24 drops in a cylinder tube. Also, in the second experiment, we obtained 3 measures. First one, 19 centimeters of diameter. Second one, 19.5 centimeters of diameter. Third one, 23 centimeters of diameter. The average of the diameter after the experiment was 20.6 centimeters. With the information, we could deduce that 1 drop of oleic acid is equal to 0.04 milliliters, and the weight of a molecule is 2,084 grams per mole. With this lab practice, I learned more about making better measurements that can be calculated with several tools that give us a result needed. Also, I observed how a drop of oleic acid acts in water, and I learned how is measured the weight of a molecule.
During this practice, I learned that this one was to pay a lot of attention because you have to calculate all very precise in order to get the most certain result at the end. I really liked it because it seems like magic, and also it has a lot of chemistry and we can do it in our house.
As a conclusion, I can say that this practice was very difficult in the kind of way that it involved a lot of mathematical calculations, but I still think that it was interesting.
My conclusion is that the practice wasn't easy to understand and to do because it had a lot of things that at the beginning I didn't knew it, but at the end it resulted interesting, all the calculation and experiment in general.